Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift. It's a brand new week right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew.
Come down by me
tonight we do a thing we call community and finance.
That one we never complaining. How the bass too loud on the system. So bring a drum and let we start the singing. If you know you don't have time for haters, show me a
kicking it off tonight to Ravi B.
Police come down by me with a warning.
It's called Police.
That one we never complaining. How the bass too loud on the system. So bring the drum and this is what we singing. Father bless that soul, that soul. Bless that soul, bless that soul, bless my neighbor. Police come down by me with a warning. They say that one we never complaining. How the bass too loud on the system. So bring the drum and this is what we singing. Father bless that soul, that soul. Bless that soul, bless that soul, bless my neighbor. Jump up for your 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 neighbor. Nothing wrong if I have a little party, but this neighbor just get on like a pushy. No, 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 we don't like that. Nothing wrong if I have a little party, but this neighbor just get on like a pushy. Every time this neighbor hear the hot bong, they just call the police to shut me down. Police come down by me with a warning. They say that one we never complaining. How the bass too loud on the system. So bring the drum and this is what we singing. Father bless that soul, that soul. Bless that soul, bless that soul, bless my neighbor. Jump up for your 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 neighbor. Jump up.
The zone of Ravi B.
Jump up with your neighbor.
Track is called Police.
To be happy in a village, we should live like family. Oh, 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 yes, we like that. I want my neighbors to be happy. In a village, we should live like family. But like one of my neighbor don't like we. They always calling police to stop we party. Police come down by me with a warning.
Boy, it's serious when your neighbors keep calling the police on you know.
Complaining how the bass too loud.
You get the impression that somebody doesn't like somebody, right?
Man, this is what we singing. Father bless that soul.
I want to say welcome to each and everyone locked in right now.
Nothing wrong.
Those on TuneIn Radio on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Big ups to you.
I just kept on like a pushy. Every time this neighbor hear the hot bong, they just call the police.
I want to say big ups to all the affiliates all over the globe.
Come down by me with a warning.
Big ups to those on
we never come.
One Harmony Radio out of the UK. Top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK.
So bring the drum and this is what we singing. Father bless that soul.
Big ups to those in New York.
Soul.
Locked in on Island worldwide, exhibiting the power of music. Big ups to those in New Jersey, NIE Radio. I want to say big ups to those out of Texas and the affiliates representing those listeners. The WGLRO, the home of the Don and Walker Morning Show. Top of the greetings and salutations to you guys over there in Texas. Don and Walker Morning Show, taking from the sheets to the streets on the People Station. Big ups to Allowap Radio and Dusik Media Groups, also out of Texas. Much love to you.
Police come down by me.
Want to say big ups to those on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Locked in out of South Florida.
So bring the drum and this is what we singing. Father bless that
big ups to you.
soul. Bless that soul, bless that soul, bless my neighbor.
Of course, big ups to those who are locked in on Facebook Live. Remember, it's only a segment broadcast, so don't get too comfortable.
Bass too loud on my system. So bring the drum and
I do, however, welcome you to use the link in the description. You go to kevinstew.com
bless that soul, bless that soul.
for the entire broadcast. And you get to be interactive.
I want my neighbors to be happy. In a village we should live like family. Oh, 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 oh. Yes, we like that. I want my neighbors to be happy. In a village we should live like family. But like one of my neighbor don't like we. They always calling police to stop we party. Police come down by me with a warning. They say that one of we neighbor complaining. How the bass too loud on the system. So bring the drum and this is what we singing. Father bless that soul, that soul. Bless that soul, bless that soul, bless my neighbor.
Hey man, ask the Father to bless that soul. That neighbor. Alright, just to take care of some formalities before I bring the guest for the evening on.
Like one of my neighbor don't like we. They always calling police to stop we party. Police come down by me.
I want to say thank you to my segment sponsors, Pulsey Media Group, and being in a moment. It's priceless. They provide innovative streaming and recording solutions.
System. So bring the drum and
Give them a call, 754-999-6020. They provide services like you see here on kevinstew.com.
that soul, that's my neighbor.
You have a church service, a seminar, a wedding, a funeral, a party.
They say that one of
You want to stream live on a secure platform,
how the bass too loud on
and you have that platform?
So bring the drum and
Well, they can hook you up with the solutions that you need. 754-999-6020 gets you in touch with them. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you with over 20 years of experience, bringing her tables, her oils, and of course her Healing Heavenly Hands.
we should live like family. Oh, oh.
Give her a call, 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000.
I want my neighbors to
Or email her at thealater@att.net.
should live like family. But like
She only has one request outside of paying her, that you get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. Happens to me all the time. I get my massage, I fall straight asleep.
that one of we neighbor complaining. How the people loud on
I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment.
man, this is what I'm singing.
Reggae Global Entertainment provides booking agent services,
Bless that soul, that's
tour management,
my neighbor.
copyrights, publishing, trademarks, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-804-8199. That's it, 954-804-8199. Or check them out online, reggaeglobalentertainment.com. And thank you to GMAT Music Solutions, bringing your events to life, providing sound, light production services, stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, singers, and more. Call them up, 95754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622. Big ups to those on gmapmusicsolutions.com. When you link up with them, tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you, yeah? Inviting you, each and every one, to jump in the stew pot. And if any of you are wondering, gee, what is the stew pot? Well, when you go to kevinstew.com, others call it a chat room, because we're fancy over here. That's our interactive portal. So you're invited to call a friend, tell a friend. Friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies. Call everybody, tell them. The night shift DJ Kevin Stew is on. Community and Finance Night. In the background, the sound of Ravi, it's called Police. And tonight being the second Monday night of the month, we welcome our friendly police officers out of the Lauderhill Police Department. And I'm so glad that when they represent, because we learned so much from them. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you one of the newer members of the Lauderhill Police Department, and one that has position of much responsibility. And I want to say, firstly, welcome to Lauderhill on behalf of the Lauderhill residents, to none other than the new, brand spanking new Deputy Chief of Police, Timothy Belcher Sr. Welcome, sir. How are you, Chief?
Doing great. Doing great.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. This device is doing some crazy things. Am I frozen on your side?
Actually, I'm focusing on my side, and then I have a live one of me on my side also.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
I think we are unfrozen now. So, once again, welcome to the broadcast, sir. Glad that you could take the time out to join us tonight and to represent your people in the city of Lauderhill and the Lauderhill Police Department. We've been fortunate enough to have the Lauderhill PD represented every month or most months since, I would say, which month are we in? June, I would say, at least. Yeah, from about January, February, thereabouts. If not before. I need to look back now. It seems like forever. But thanks to Chief Stanley for kicking it off, because she was the first one on, and you all have represented ever since. So big ups to you, big ups to the chief, big ups to the staff, the public relations department, our community relations department of the Lauderhill Police Department, which is kind of weird because the whole police department is community relations, isn't it?
Of course. Of course.
So, Deputy Chief, let's get down to a little bit of business here. Who is Timothy Belcher?
Well, I'm a young man that grew up in unincorporated Miami-Dade County.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Miami Northwestern Senior High School where I graduated in '86. There was a lot of things that I had the opportunity to see when I was a young man before even thinking about becoming a police officer. But what caused me to think about becoming a police officer, and I saw some things back then that was taking place um, against some of our black males and just um, some of our race in general
Mm-hmm.
that I want to change, and that was between law enforcement and the citizens of my race,
Right.
which is Black American at the time. So I was about 7 years old, and I had the opportunity to see something brutal, and I
Mm.
wanted to be a change agent in that some kind of way, not knowing and not having on my mind and heart to become a chief one day, but not until I got into the profession and I
Right.
start moving around and start seeing things, hearing things, and understanding things more better, made me want to become um, a now deputy chief, but looking forward to becoming the chief of police before my law enforcement career is over. Um, to not only lead the people in the community and the men and women in the police department,
Right.
but be a big a big leader within the law enforcement profession and a good leader, somebody that you can look up to, somebody that you can respect and who can respect you for who you are and for the things that you do, whether it's in your community or whether it's in your little cubby hole at work or at home, or
Mm-hmm.
whether you're a janitor walking around cleaning up, because all those things I respect and all those positions I respect because those are the things that I've done in the past.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You know that kind of sets us up to go on a little bit of a journey here into Tim Belcher, the man, to get to Deputy Chief of Police for the Lauderhill Police Department, Tim Belcher. Because and you answer one of the questions that I really wanted to ask. What was it that inspired you to get involved in policing? And you said it was something you witnessed as a, as a minor, as a 7-year-old, to be exact. You
Yes.
remember the exact thing that happened that day, and that moment you said, "Boy, I want to get into law enforcement because of this." Now, since that incident, wasn't there anything along the way that said, "Boy, let's not do that. Let's do medicine. Let's do let's become an attorney. Let's be an accountant, a banker." Wasn't there anything else that came into play as you moved from a 7-year-old? You're talking about elementary school.
Yes. So very, and I can say this. I guess I was a very advanced young young boy at the time,
Mm-hmm.
uh, who had aspirations after seeing and witnessing things going on in my community. Not only in my community, but back then, if you remember the movie or the TV show Roots.
Yeah.
Um, so I watched that religiously every day whenever I had a chance on my home TV. And when I got old enough to go out to Miami-Dade College to sit in the library, um, to where I would go in their library and watch all the Roots series.
Yes.
So just understanding and watching how treatment was taking place, how people of my group was being looked down at and talked down to, and I told myself I had to be a different being. I had to be a change agent. I had to be a person of respect and dignity, but not knowing that I had to be all those things right then and there. But I know I wanted to be something positive because of the negativity that was going on around in my community.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, the way I looked at life is that I wanted to be somebody different than what was in my household, somebody different than what was in my community. And I wanted to be somebody positive. So as I moved along in school and I met people, and then my grandmother who raised me at the time, she had an elder friend, elder Jamaican, friend who was 95 years old. Her name is Miss Williams. So I think I was about 10 years old at the time, 11 years old. Every day she would send me around to Miss Williams' house with a plate of food. And I would take Miss Williams this plate of food, and we would sit down in her old wooden house in a small hallway. And she would sit there in front of me and eat her food. And she would, Timmy, you're going to be something good. And from that day on, I believe I received all my blessings from Miss Williams, 95-year-old Jamaican lady. Who ever since, everything that I've asked for, everything that I've prayed for, wished for, hoped for, I've received it. And I can tell you, just by me, and I always tell young people, always respect your elders, always respect and help, and be polite to those who are older than you. I don't care who it is, and help who you can help, whether they're young or older than you, because you always will get paid back some kind of way. And I'm a true believer, so I can tell you everything I ask for and everything I plan for as I move forward and continue to move forward, I have received. Now, can I say that I received it easily? Not necessarily, but I can't say I received it hard either. I had to put on that armor, and I had to keep my skin thick, and had to keep my mind sane, not letting anybody jug at me to break me down, to bring me down to a level to where I can't succeed, to be successful in life. So that was very important for me, and it continues to be important for me because I still have a path to move forward in. And I always tell young people now, your path has already been set. Everything is in order for you. But the only person can keep it going is you.
Right.
It's me, me, and you to keep that path that's been ordered already on a straight path and stuff. Are you going to run into some bumps in the road? Of course you will. But you have to divert. You have to know how to pray, and you have to believe that things are going to be good and great. And you have to keep it moving. And whatever's bad that came in front of you once upon a time, like I told you about my childhood life. Yeah. Whatever was bad in your eyesight, you have to let those things go behind you and let them continue to push you forward towards your dreams, your hopes, your goals, your way of living, your way of respect, integrity about yourself. You have to be that different person. You can't let those in the street who want to do wrong pull you down that same pathway, because your path for yourself has been set and has been ordered already. Only person who can keep it going that way is you.
Now, let me ask you something about that. Having friends that may pull you down the wrong path. While you were growing up, so you got through elementary, you got into middle school, and you said you grew up in unincorporated Dade, Miami-Dade, right? So here you are growing up in Miami, and now you've gotten through elementary, you hit middle school. Typically, people getting into middle school, this is where the kids start exploring the streets.
Right.
we start to see a little fuzz growing on our face and coming up under our armpits, and we think that, we're getting there. We're getting there. So now we can start doing some stuff.
Right.
As a boy growing up, hitting middle school, high school, here comes the peer influences. Was there any point in time when you had some friends that would say, "Hey, Timmy, let's go let's go over here and do this. Let's go steal some mangoes. Let's go, mess with the old people around the corner. Let's throw mud balls at people." Whatever it was at the time that kids were getting into that may get them in trouble. Where did you stand growing up as a preteen into teenager where that is concerned?
Well, I was a DJ at 11.
A DJ?
My DJ name was the Magic MC Man. I used to DJ with a group called the Supersonic DJs. And I was the youngest I was the youngest jock in the group, but I was the best jocks on the box.
This guy.
So I did that at 11, and I continued on up till I was 14. I had been working since I was 12. Anytime that I can get some work,
Yeah.
whether I walk through the neighborhood and I see men working on houses, I would go up and ask. And they was men of a different color. And I would ask them, could I help out? And they would allow me to help carrying wood around, carrying little dirt in the hand
wheelbarrows?
cart. And they would pay me some money at the end of the day. Or either I got myself a lawnmower. Once the lawn man used to come around the house, I used to ask him about cutting yards. And then I finally got me a lawnmower, and I started going around cutting yards, making me $40 to $50 a yard. So my thing is that I've been working. I've been working as a young man up until this point, and I'm still working. And I'm working to succeed in this career here. So I've been working for a long time, and I worked 2 and 3 jobs. I threw newspapers early in the morning with my aunt at 2 o'clock in the morning, rolling the papers up, load them in the truck. I started driving when I was 11 because my aunt let me drive the truck. We threw newspapers on Miami Shores. So I've been doing a lot of things throughout. But the main thing is that coming out of college, I ended up teaching school for 2 years. Coming out of college, not knowing that I was going to be a school teacher because my goal was to become a police officer or play in the NFL. Coming out of college, not knowing that, someday I'm going to be talking to a whole lot of young people.
Yeah, yeah.
I have mentored thousands and thousands of young people from Miami-Dade County up to Palm Beach. And we have sent thousands and thousands of them to college through the 5,000 Role Models program.
Yes.
Which is controlled by and founded by the Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. So I've been a part of that program for over 25 years. But it's not just that program. It's been other programs. We have mentor programs in North Miami. Everywhere I go, if I can mentor, if I can share my story or share my word with you as a young person to get you to change your direction and change your path if you're going down the wrong road, I'm going to do that. And if you invite me somewhere, I'm going to make sure you feel my words.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel all of them, I tell them, when you get in your quiet corner and you hear one of those words that I say and it goes along with you, with your life, I want you to sit down and think about that word, and I want you to take it and let it move you and let it put you back in position. Let it put you back on the path that's already been ordered for you. And yes, I had friends who was part of gangs. I had friends who dealt drugs.
Yeah.
Yes, I had to be the strong one. I had to be that different one. And I always tell people, if you ask any of my friends about me, they would all say the same thing. And a lot of them, they don't know each other. But I guarantee you that they would all say the same thing. And what brings that to mind is that I have other friends who are in law enforcement that I grew up with. I have friends that are not in law enforcement that I grew up with.
Right.
And both sides can tell you about Timothy Belcher, how he is. Yes, he's been different. He's always been the person to save us, to stop us from fighting, from doing this and doing it wrong, or saying we need to do this. And we would call him different. And wondering why nobody couldn't break me down. People will say things to me indirectly to try to hurt my feelings, to make me feel bad, or to see if they can get me upset. But I pay no attention to that. What I pay attention to is what's ahead and what's in my future. I let the things that people say to me and the things that I leave behind, I let them push me forward to continue to be. Because my message and my experience and what I'm doing means so much to me, and that I need to share it, not only with my family, but with a lot of other people out here in these communities. And we're lacking that in our black males. And I think it needs to be more of us. And it's a lot of us in law enforcement that you haven't met. There's a lot of us across the nation that you haven't met yet, but I have because I've been to the conferences.
Right.
So you see these role models, these fathers, these uncles, cousins, who's looking to help try to make a difference, to make that change, that come out here and preach the same gospel. Not only to themselves, and to their personnel, but to the young people, in our country, across the nation and stuff. And it's important that we who are able come out and share the word. You know, whether I'm talking to you, whether I'm talking to a young man that's 3 years old, I want to make sure that I mold that young man who's 3 years old, or mold that older man who's 60 years old, 50 years old, the same way somebody molded me. One thing I tell people, my mentor as a young man when I was coming up, around that 7-year-old time when I was in that neighborhood, a pimp mentored me.
Really?
My pimp. But he didn't teach me pimp ways. He taught me manhood. He taught me how to be a young man.
How did he do that? What?
I actually saw him. One day I actually saw him while I was a police officer, and I ran into him and I said, Lee. And he said, hey, who are you? I said, Tim, the young man who's around the corner from me. He said, oh my goodness, he couldn't believe it. That I had grew from this young boy, 7 years old.
Yeah.
Now a man at 31 years old.
So was he still pimping?
Anybody and everybody can be a mentor.
Yeah.
Anybody and everybody can be a role model.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that, they can be bad or good. The bad ones, they teach you what not to do. The good ones teach you what to do and where you need to go and how you need to do it when you're doing it. So,
all right. I love your stories because they tend to touch on things that come to mind that I want to ask you, and you actually answer some of them before I get to them. I kind of like want to just sit back and just, I don't even need to be saying anything. I just leave this to you. You got this.
You better slow down so you can ask me your questions. I'll do that.
You know, you truly have this broadcast to yourself. You know, it really is the Tim Belcher show, and just facilitated by DJ Kevin Stew. That's what it is, really. You said you got mentored by a pimp.
Yes.
And this is someone that you knew as a child was a pimp.
Yes.
Doing something that is considered illegal. However, you got something positive out of his words because he wasn't teaching you to do what he was doing.
Right.
So, here it is. You've gotten these words from someone that you know is in the prostitution business. And you go through high school, college, police academy. You're back in the community that you grew up in. So you've never left, really. You see this guy who was in illegal businesses. First thought. Because you said you went over to him and you said, hey, Lee, how you doing? So what was your first thought? Was it, is he still pimping? Was it, oh, he's good now?
I knew at the time he wasn't still doing that because he had gotten older. I had gotten older.
Right.
Like I said, I think I was probably 31 or so when I ran into him again.
Yes.
But it's not about, it wasn't about, you know, what are you doing? It's about me being so happy to see you.
Right.
Because I know and I remember what you did for me and what you said to me and the things that you taught me whenever I would come around to your house. He lived around the corner from me.
Right.
So that's what was important to me.
Gotcha.
It's not about, you know, it's about me changing that person's mind to do something different and positive. We see what he helped produce out of to become a good man, a good father, a career man.
Yeah.
You know, who's looking to do positive things to help out other people.
Yes.
And help out different other people, not just our people, but different other people. But with focus on our people, because our people need so much help, so much guiding, so much love, so much touch. And sometimes I need that. You know, sometimes I need that. And yes, I have these 3 stars on my shoulders and I have a good job. God gave me the opportunity to work again, to work a second session in his career. After
Right.
I left the Navy, but
Because
I still need that touch. I still need that love. I still need that direction, and I always look for it.
all right, so let me ask you a little bit about you operating as a police officer in Miami. And but before I get into that, I want to say to those who are locked in on Facebook Live, please use the link that is in the description. It's also pinned in the comment section. Come on over to kevinstew.com for the remainder of the broadcast. I'm going to jump off Facebook Live now. Thank you for those who shared this broadcast. Hubert, much love all the time for your support, bro. A quiet supporter, but a big supporter nonetheless. Much love to you, bro. Come on over to kevinstew.com. Jump into the stew pot, which others call a chat room. It's the interactive portal where we keep things bubbling, lively and entertaining. And for those of you who want to send a live word or even call in to exchange words with the Deputy Chief, Timothy Belcher, you can do so. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. And you can call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram. It gets you in touch with us right now as we are live having this discussion, this conversation where you get to meet Timothy Belcher. So come on over. Facebook Live, deuces to you. We'll do it again tomorrow with healthy love. Much love. And so back to you, Chief. With knowing on the other side of it, with knowing how individuals end up taking different directions, going in different directions at different times. You saw something that you locked onto, and at the time you are what we call in Jamaica a hustler. You do whatever it takes to get where you need to be or to get what you need, but you're doing it on the right side of the law.
Right.
Then you have some other hustlers who will either bend or break the law to get what they want or what they need. So on your journey, I know, because I have had them, and I don't think there's anybody who has not had them. There has to have been some people along the way that had gone the other direction, but still in Miami. So here you are now. You got into the school system. So you were a teacher for a few years.
Uh-huh.
So now you were exposed to young people in the community, and some of them had traits that would definitely take them down the wrong path. A career in law enforcement was nothing anywhere on their radar. And you can just tell. Some of them you can just look at them and tell.
Mm-hmm.
When you became a police officer, seeing some of these people, seeing some people from your childhood that were just the same, and pretty much went and did what you thought they would do, take on a life of crime.
Right.
What was policing like in Miami, where you grew up, seeing the people that you know? Now, recognizing that you have always been different, but now you're mandated to even be a little bit more different.
Mm-hmm.
And present and uphold the law. What was that like for you? Was that a real challenge, knowing that here's someone that you know, that you may have to arrest, that you may have to put behind bars for a period of time, a time T or whatever? What was that like?
Well, I could tell you this too, and I had a friend of mine, my real close friend, and we were best friends.
Yeah.
And we still are best friends, but we're not around each other like we used to be.
Mm-hmm.
He enjoyed smoking marijuana.
Okay.
I didn't like marijuana. Matter of fact, I didn't like cigarette smoke, and I hate it now. But what I used to to because I didn't want to see him fail. And I knew the direction that I was trying to go, but I didn't want to see him fail. So what I would do, we had a couple of teachers that was real close to us. I mean, so close they would invite us to their home.
Right.
Because they looked at me and him as brothers. And we kind of looked at them as parents because, you know, our parents wasn't fully there. Like I told you, I was raised by my grandmother, but I had my aunt and my mom was around, but I wasn't really raised by my mom. I didn't meet my dad till I was 11 years old. So what I would do is that either I would take his can of marijuana, which was in a little cookie can, and I would hide it, or either I would throw it away. And then he would ask me for it, and he would run after me. And then when I go to school the next day, I would actually tell the teachers who we was real close to that he smoked drugs. Because what I was trying to get him to do is to stop doing what he was doing.
Right.
Because I know it was bad for his system. And I knew one day he was going to get in trouble for it. But he made it out, you know, and he got his own business. He's doing the same thing his dad was doing. But it was things like that to where, you know, you have friends, but you hear when you get ready to go into this kind of profession, people say, you know, you have certain friends that you might end up breaking away from once you get focused in this profession.
Right.
And so you have to know, and you have to be strong enough to know how to separate what's not good for you and what's good for you. So that was me. I knew how to separate it. And that's why I became different to everybody, because there were certain things that I didn't do. There were certain things I didn't care for, and I still don't care for them. You know, it's just like me coming to Lauderhill. Lauderhill has a purpose for me. And like I told you, the path has already been set. Lauderhill has a purpose for me because a lot of things that I've done in Dade County and across this nation, you know, helping others and the way I look at certain things and the way I want certain things done to be accomplished.
Right.
To the way I don't like things to be watered down, especially when it comes to trying to fix or solve a problem or fix our system that involves our young black males, our young black females, and then every other color across the nation. I don't like to do watered down solutions. I want to make sure that we put forth 85 to 100% effort in whatever we do, try to fix whatever needs to be fixed. Because I feel like if we don't put that amount of effort in it, things doesn't get fixed. It stops for a moment or for a minute.
It gets shuffled around.
And then it comes back.
Yeah.
Or it moves to a different location. But we in the business of wearing these uniforms and wearing this badge, and we're in the business of community policing. We have to be able to get out there and change the mindsets of these individuals. Especially you talk about an 11-year-old where they're having shootings back and forth with the police. 11 and 13-year-old kids.
Yeah.
When you see something like that, something's wrong. We are in the business to fix that. And how do we do that? We have to chip away at it as much as we can, and we have to keep chipping. We don't just hit it one time and stop. But we have to keep chipping and we have to keep moving, keep talking, keep showing up, and let them know that we're there. And once you do that, you start seeing things trying to chime down. You start seeing young people starting to change their mindset.
But you know, it's interesting when this is the goal, and you see children doing things like that. Now, fortunately for us, I'd like to say fortunately for us, we haven't seen incidents like those in South Florida.
Right.
However, it doesn't mean that they're not children that could be walking around with or have access to high-powered weapons. Or any kind of weapons, actually, that could cause guns specifically. And so, how I watched that video and I was torn between two thoughts. I was torn between the thought of privilege and policing. Because hearing our cops say, please don't do this, don't let me do this.
Right.
Please, I don't want to do this. And it is speaking to using his own service weapon to stop what is happening, which could very well mean taking a life, and in this case, the life of a child. But then you hear of other stories that involve police officers where it doesn't seem like any such consideration was made. So, me personally, Kevin Stew, for me it was, is this policing or is this privilege? And I had asked some friends of mine, and a few of them said it's both. As a police officer and as someone that is in charge of many police officers, how exactly do you make something like that a standard across the board? And you interact with police from all over, you have interacted with police from all over the country. You have worked in now 2 counties in South Florida. Miami-Dade, which you did, what, 20 years in Dade?
27.
27 years, almost 30 years in Dade. Which, I don't know how you work out that math when you look like 33, but I won't even get into that. But you managed to do 27 years in Dade. Here you are now in Broward County at Lauderhill Police Department, and you have this responsibility to have police officers police the right way.
Yes.
I guess there has to be an understanding first of what is the right way to police. Is there a right way to police? And what we saw in that video is that the policing that we want to have for across the board, or would that be considered privilege policing?
Well, first of all, we have to realize that we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
And we are all different as citizens. And as a citizen, we become a part of this uniform, a part of this profession.
Okay.
And we're still all different. Now, of course, all police officers get similar to about the same training. But since we're all different, sometimes we're going to disperse what we learned, how to do things. We're going to disperse it differently. Some people are going to be proactive. Some people are going to be reactive. Some people are going to be slackers. Some people are going to be on point. And that's what I found out, throughout policing. And everybody have different mindsets, and everybody deal with things differently. So I look at the situation up north to where you have young kids shooting back at the police, or you have officers pulling the trigger, or you have somebody kneeling down on somebody's neck.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask yourself, that's taking place. What is going through that person's mind? Why do they have to do that?
Right.
And we don't get too much of that down here in South Florida, but every once in a while, we do get one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that one bad apple. And those are the ones when you say, how do we get it to go across the board? The same way we go into the communities to try to solve those issues, try to change those young people's minds. We have to chip away at our police officers also. We chip away at them of the rules, the regulations, the policies and procedures, the right way of doing things, the respect, the customer service, all of those things need to constantly be put into the ears, into the minds and the hearts of our police officers. So when they go out on the street and they see that they run into a situation that we just finished talking about, whether it be in roll call training, whether it be outside roll call training, whether it be in training within the agency, in-service training, and they recognize and say, man, we just spoke about that. Mm-hmm. The supervisor must make sure we don't go down that route.
Right.
That's what's going to help us be able to do across the board. We have to constantly, even though we're grown-ups, even though we're professional law enforcement officers, we still have to remember that we're human.
Right.
And the human mind, sometimes it fades off, go in its own little direction. Now, it falls asleep and get very lackadaisical. So how do we change that? We have to keep chipping away at it, putting those words and putting that training, putting our thoughts and we have to have conversation with each other. To make sure that we're not only supporting each other and watching out for each other, but we educating each other constantly on a daily basis every time we come to work. Because the key goal is to come to work happy and go home happy, smiling, living. And the same thing I want to see with every young male and young boy in the community. I want to see them come out and play, come out and hang out, and I want to see them make it and go back home the same way. Not going to our jails, not going to the hospital in a stretcher, not laying on the ground taking their last couple of breaths, wishing they had to follow the good instructions.
Yeah.
I would like to see everybody in a peaceful mode. But do we have that? No, because we're all human. We're doing something different. We're doing a lot of things that we think that's going to help us get ahead. And a lot of times it doesn't. I have people zooming by me in their car, going 75 miles an hour in a 40 miles an hour zone. And guess what? I say, well, good luck. I'll meet you at the red light. By the time they're doing 75, I pull right up. They're right at the red light.
Yeah.
But I always ask the question. I said, well, what if they would have got stopped, got a ticket, $250, not knowing that they didn't really have to go that day.
Right.
So it's things like, when we talk about the human mind, why we do certain things. Because we're not trained, we're not taught, we're not constantly told. And some people think we don't need to be constantly told or reminded because they think because we're adults, or we in this uniform, and we carrying this gun, this badge, that we should already know. But that is not the case. That is not the case. We have to always constantly, as leaders, in this police agency here, Lauderhill Police Department, and every other police agency in the nation, because we all have these same similar issues.
Right.
We have to be constantly reminded, even us as the top leaders. Sometimes we have to be reminded. Sometimes we have to be touched, patted on the shoulder, say, hey, you might want to do this. You might want to go that way. You might want to say these things. So we have to constantly chip away at our personnel to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to make sure they're going in the right direction, to make sure when they come outside in that uniform and they get in that car that they respect everybody they possibly can. I call it being firm, be fair. Don't go out there and let people step on you, but you go out there and you be fair to each and everybody and you be respectful. And you see what kind of return you get after you do that and after you be that way. Because I definitely can tell you what kind of return I get.
But it's really interesting, Chief, that you would actually end up saying to respect everyone and to dish out a certain level of respect, to get a certain level of respect reciprocated when you start off, if we rewind the tape, going back to your childhood and watching the series Roots. There are some that would watch the same series and go, boy, I'm going to avenge Toby. And they look at everyone that has a different tone of skin as the enemy. Anyone that didn't look like them, that doesn't know the struggle that black people have gone through as the enemy, and decide that they're gonna go after them. What was it for you that made you recognize that, hey, there really needs to be a level playing field here, and there's a section of the community that needs to understand what people on my side of the street have gone through, and people on my side of the street have to recognize what the people on the other side of the street, that either they don't know for whatever reason and they just need to be informed, and it's not really a war that needs to be taking place, because underneath the pigment of the skin is the same person, the same type of being, the human being. So what was it that made that a level playing field for you?
So one thing I realized as a young man, even though I watched all that, saw all that, heard everything, witnessed a lot of things, I still couldn't judge everybody as being the same. Even with my culture. We're all not the same.
Right.
And I can't call everybody on the other side a devil or a bad person. I would never do that.
Right. Right.
Because I have many friends, and I can start from when we was young, when we was out to the beach. I think it was Crandon Park, and they had the islands out in the water, whatever they call them, the
sand dunes,
the sandbar.
sandbars. Yeah.
So me and my sister, at a very young age, would go out on the sandbar, and so my sister slipped off into the water. My mom was way up on the shore, and I was able to swim back to the shore, but my sister was drowning, and this white guy had jumped in and saved my sister and brought her in. After that, I say everybody is not bad. We have certain people that are bad. We have some good people in all ethnic groups. And I have a lot of friends. That's why I said being a genuine person, speaking real, talking seriously to not only our young people, but everybody that you come in contact with. People will see that and they will feel like they know you or known you for a long time.
Yeah.
Because they feel the genuineness in you.
Right.
And I can feel the genuineness back in them because that's how I take to people. Of course, everybody is different. Some people may not like me or may not like my ways or may not like the way I look. But I can't let that slow me down.
Right.
Because remember, I'm supposed to be the game changer. I'm supposed to be the problem solver. So guess what? To me, they have a problem, and I need to solve it. I need to prove to them, let them know that, hey, I'm not the bad guy. I'm just like you, under a different color skin. We're all in the same profession. We're all trying to do the same thing. It's succeed in life, be successful, make our families happy, take care of our families, be great fathers, uncles, cousins, brothers. We all trying to do the same thing no matter what color we are. But we all have some bad apples in each group across this nation. And those are the ones that we have to try to catch, try to save, we have to chip away at as far as with whatever we can offer them as far as verbiage, things that come out of our mouth or what we can show, whether it's a hug, a handshake, and say, hey, man, you're looking good today. And just like I tell some of the officers, I tell them, I say, hey, y'all know who the thugs are out there. You know who's saying drugs. Walk by them and speak to them. And just keep on walking. And let that person think, hey, what's going on with that officer? Why are you speaking to me? And then you come back again 2 days later, a day later, you walk by him again, you speak to him again. Hey, man, how you doing? You good? And then you keep on walking. Don't even stop to try to have conversation with him. Because I want you to start rallying his mind. I want you to start changing his mindset about how he feels about police officers. And on top of that, how he feels about himself, about what he's doing. So when you come that third time and you speak to him, it's a possibility that he's going to speak back. When he speaks back, you got him. So you got him to come in. You just open a crack, and you've been waiting for him to come in there and get that little cheese. And when he speaks back, it's broken. And now all you have to do is continue on. Before you know it, you're going to be having a conversation with the guy. Before you know it, you're going to have him sitting in his quiet corner thinking about what he's doing and should he do that.
I'm here listening to what you're saying. Brilliant, by the way. And I realized quickly that you were intentional about saying speak to that individual and not speak with that individual the first few times.
Yes.
You're dropping a word and moving on, not giving them a chance to really get into anything. You just drop something and move. And that's brilliant. Was sociology and psychology a part of your early schooling, your college years, anywhere up in there?
No, no, it was not. But like I told you, I've seen a lot, heard a lot, and I paid attention to a lot, and I still pay attention today. As a deputy chief here at Lauderhill,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I sit back, I watch, and I learn, and I listen, and I pay attention to people, and I look at what angers us. You know, sometimes I would tell my major who works for me. I said, look, you know, when things come up and he get bothered, and I could tell that he's bothered by it, I said, look, relax. I said, don't get bothered. I said, don't let it get you down, because we have a goal and we have objectives ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time to get held back by being angry or upset about certain things. We have to keep moving.
But that's something that's tough to do, though.
Same story. But it's up to you to follow. It's up to you to get on board, because that is the right thing for you to do, not the wrong thing. And I tell them, I said, do everything in your heart and your mind. Do everything within policy, and let's follow it. That's all I've been doing all my career. I wasn't perfect,
right?
But as I continued on, I learned a lot of things. I watched a lot of things, and I heard a lot of things. I learned how to talk. I learned how to speak. You know, I used to have supervisors at North Miami, and they used to tell me, "Say, Belcher, you so full of it." I said, "Well, I got it from you all."
That's a diffuser right there.
So, and you give people the answer that they don't expect.
Yeah.
They expect for you to get upset or get bothered. But they say, man, I don't know how you do it. I say, how I do it? I just say something totally opposite from what they expected. Anybody that come to me and try to say something to hurt my feelings, to bother me, to this, that, and the other, if I respond, I'm going to respond with something totally off the wall that you wasn't expecting for me to respond with. And then I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to keep it moving, because my thing is positive thinking, moving forward. Help who you can help. Care for who you can care for. You know, one thing I tell, either with women, I bought my first car when I was 14 years old. I was just telling somebody the other day, because I saw something that I was reading the other day in church when I was giving out the announcements.
Yeah.
About this educational summer job where they pay you to go there. I said, man, I was working one of those downtown Miami when I bought my first car at 14, a 70 Impala.
What?
Chevy.
Okay. I at 14 you bought your first car.
Yes, sir.
You were driving at 11.
Yes, sir.
Illegal, but we do it anyway.
I taught my girls. I got two girls. They're older now.
Yeah.
But I learned at 11. They learned at 11. Now my 13-year-old son, he's a little bit behind, but respectfully, I teach him. You know, because that's what I learned. But I also teach them to be respectful, and I teach them the right direction. I teach them what to look out for. Mm-hmm. Not saying they're going to be 100% knowing what to look out for, because people always come with all kinds of tricks and games and stuff like that. But they have to be able to recognize that game and that faultiness about people and stuff. To not let them sneak up on them, not let them overtake them and do this and do that. So I have to teach them, because every time my girls go out this door, even though they're grown adults, I don't go to sleep until they come back in the door.
I was a part of a conversation just last night at an event I was at, where as parents we were having that discussion, and even as parents of adult children, you still have restless nights when your kids are out.
Yep.
And I know my mother did it when I became an adult. I was working, driving, and this is in Jamaica. Now, of course, this was a time where first cell phones were just coming into play, and it wasn't commonplace like now. So, you know, methods of communication were a little bit different. But now, where you have instant communication, you know, to say boy, I can't sleep unless my kids are home, unless I know that they're safe. You know, that phone call does only so much to put you at ease, or that text
Yeah.
message. But I want to ask you, going back to policing, what would have been some of the most difficult experiences that you've had as a cop? Whether it involved making a difficult arrest, whether it involved discharging your firearm. Can you think of would have been either the most difficult situation that you've been in, or a couple of the difficult situations that you've been in as a cop, and how you navigated through that?
Well, when I first came on as a police officer at North Miami, and I was riding with my field training officer, we had somebody that was burglarizing and stealing some stuff. So we had got the guy handcuffed, put him in the back of the car, and I told the field training officer I'm going to go around the back to check and see if I have anything else back there. And I told him to wait at the car with the suspect that we had in the car. Well, back then we had these little windows that can slide open in the middle. So then he ended up showing up at the rear of the house where I was at. And I asked him, I said, where's the suspect at? He said, he's in the car. So I said, well, let me walk back to the car because I know we had those center windows. So by the time I got back to the car, I see the suspect running down the side of the house and up the alleyway with his handcuffs on. So I go chasing behind him. And of course, he get to the end of the alleyway and he hide in some bushes. So I pull out my weapon, and then all of a sudden he jumps out of the bush to where he hit my weapon, and it fired off. So now we have an accidental discharge. So now the suspect, he's not hit, but now my worry is that the bullet go into somebody's house behind me, and that was my worry, and that was one of the toughest things that I was involved in police work at that time. Everything else that I've been through, can I call it tough? No, I can't, because it was always just something. If I was chasing after somebody on foot, I enjoyed it. If I had to pick up 9 kids and put them in the back seat of my police car to bring them back to school, I enjoyed that. Those are things that I enjoyed. If I have to pull up in the crowd and they know Officer Belcher has arrived and they take off running, I enjoy that because that means they respect who I am. So I enjoyed a lot of the things that I did because I educate them. Because nowadays I see those same kids, and now they 30-something, 40-something years old, and they have their kids now. Right. So now they see what I was dealing with when I was dealing with them. So what they do when they come up to me, Officer Belcher, can you talk to my son? Can you talk to my daughter? And some of them thank me for being the way I was back then when I had to deal with them, because I gave them opportunities. I gave them a choice to make whether they want to go to jail or they want to do my exercise program, which I see a lot of them now. Either they became police officers or you see them in gyms being fitness trainers. And I was shocked, When I was attached to Miami-Dade County, we go all the way down to Florida City. And then I see guys in the back of a truck, and they say, Officer Belcher, and I'm like, what they doing way down here? I said, who is that? And they're kids. There was once kids who was in the school when I was a school resource officer. And it's the same way I feel when I come here to Lauderhill. And I tell people and I tell myself, Tim, you're not up here to play a game. And I'm not up here to play games. I'm up here to solve a problem. I'm up here to mend a community with our police officers. Same thing I did when I was in North Miami. I'm up here to try to make a difference and change the mindsets and the paradigm that's taking place right now with police officers across the nation. I want to be that little piece that's of the puzzle that somebody get to look at and say, man, I want to follow that model. I want our officers to be like that. I want to build that environment in the city of Lauderhill. And that's why the path has been made for me to come up here. And that's why I'm here. And I didn't come up here to play no games.
At any point,
I have plans here and I have plans here.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of things that we can move on. I see a lot of progress that can be made. I see a lot of success that can be taken on.
At any point,
I have to build in the mindsets of the police officers, and I have to build in the mindsets of our young people and the citizens in the community
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, this is the direction we need to go. I can't do it by myself. It's
Right.
going to take you. It's going to take the citizens in the community. It's going to take our young people. It's going to take our police officers. It's going to take our commissioners, our city managers. It's going to take everybody. And I tell people it just can't be the police. It has to be everybody in order for this thing to work. And you have to believe in it, and you can't give up on it. Never,
That's true.
ever. And you can't cut it short, and you can't water it down.
Yep.
It doesn't work for us.
Yep. Definitely true. At any point in time, as you were advancing in your career, did you ever feel like you were being jilted? Did you ever feel like there was a promotion, like a promotion was coming up and you were overlooked because of even your either gender or your race?
Yeah. Yes.
How did you
So,
navigate through that?
all the questions that you asked me, I've been through all of that. I've experienced it. I navigated. When I first got there, I was a threat when I first got there because I had a college degree. So there was a lot of officers there, not of the same race, that didn't have college degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So they was worried about me when I didn't spend too much time on the road. The chief knew I was a school teacher at one point. He knew I worked in a prison. So they needed a school police officer to go into the school. So we got interviewed, me and this other guy.
Right.
And we was chosen. So the middle school principal wanted me to come to his school, to where I was very active. But then we had a sergeant's exam coming up. So I had my own office over in the school. But we had another gentleman, another police officer, who was worried about me possibly studying in my office at the school. So he had the lieutenant to have me to come back to the police department once school go in and hang out at the office at the police department.
So
another time,
what difference would that have made?
We had the opportunity to go to a course, take a course.
Yeah.
For an assessment center. And it's first come, first served. First sign up, you don't want to get to go.
Right.
So a couple of other counterparts didn't get to sign up. So they went to the chief and had the chief to counsel us from going to the class because they didn't get to go. So indirectly, things have come my way. But remember what I told you.
Yeah.
I've survived those things and I got around those things because after I learned who the people are and what they was about, I didn't let it upset me. I didn't let it bother me, but I kept on pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept on. When I got promoted to commander, I had one of the other sergeants ask me, and he had been there a little longer than me, and he asked me, should I have gotten promoted before him? And I told him, I said, well, I can't answer that. I said, you need to ask me because he the one promoted me. I said, but one thing I can is that I should have gotten promoted.
Right.
Now, it's not my determination who gets promoted first, the chief, because it's a appointed position.
Right.
And then I left with that and I walked off because I know he was going to ask me something crazy. I don't have officers one of the guys who trained me, I guess the officer, he was a commander, but now I'm a major. He's working under me. And I used to have to do certain things. And one day he told me, he said, and a friend of mine told me, he said, man, I wouldn't have took that like that. So the guy told me, he said, I hate working for you. And I smirked like this. And I looked at him and I said, guess what? You don't have a choice. And I left it at that.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, and I told him, I said, I probably hurt his feelings more than fussing him out or writing him up, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to jig at me.
Yeah,
he was trying to get me upset, make me lose my cool.
Right.
So the game is always to make me lose my cool. But I know that's what people look for, especially from us. They always think we're all about this all the time. And we're never about this. And we're never about this.
Right.
And this is what we have to change because now people pulling out these.
Exactly.
Or they pull, and
So
we knocking each other down one by one.
yeah, for those who are listening on listening to this broadcast and not watching us, the chief was referring to they expect us to be using fists and not hearts and brains, not our hearts and our heads, not thinking things through and applying humanity and a little bit of love to the situation. And people are now coming with weapons, whether it be knives or guns, or the occasional stick and stone. Chief, it takes a special kind of person to be able to maintain their cool under fire. And whether it be under fire from the public because of an opinion on how policing is done or should be done, or come under fire from your peer or your peers, as the case may be, because they felt that, like you said, you got a promotion over them. Now, not taking into consideration that they may not have been doing the very same things that you were doing. Yeah, you have the same jobs, but you weren't approaching the task and accomplishing the task in the same way. Those are the kind of things that would make a difference. And I suspect that these are the kind of things that you speak with people about. And you mentioned working in schools and prisons prior to becoming a police officer, which I suspect didn't stop after you became a police officer.
No.
So
it's always continuous. But like I said, you have to know how to deal with it. And don't get me wrong. When I talk about them, I'm not just talking about one group of people.
yeah,
I'm talking about everybody across the board.
right.
Blacks, whites, Hispanics, this, that, and the other. Everybody have their own game.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody gets bothered some kind of way. They get bothered so much to where they don't want to see you move beyond them or past them.
Right.
They don't want to see you overseeing them. So you have to know how to deal with that professionally. And you have to know how to deal with that respectfully also.
Right.
Because the thing is that if people think that you're going to get upset all the time, every time they say something or every time they do something, then guess what? They're going to continue doing something. They're going to continue saying something because they know that's your weakness.
Yeah.
But when they can't figure out what your weakness is,
They give up.
and they hurt themselves every time they try to hurt you. And like they said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that. As long as I believe that, I would not let a weapon form against me prosper to take me down.
Yep.
Just simple as
That's it right
and
there.
I'm gonna either give you a smirk or smile, I'm gonna move it on. Because guess what? I understand who you are. I understand what you're about. I understand what you're trying to do. But it won't work here. In this room here.
The people that do that, do you hold it against them, or do you just take it as you've been saying, this is just something that you did at this point in time, and we're just gonna you're gonna say what you're gonna say, I'm gonna respond how I respond, and just keep it moving.
So you ask, do I hold something against them? No, I don't. You know why? Because what they're trying to do is not my problem. It's their problem. Now, when they don't connect with me to hurt me or to break me down, now they have to go back and deal with their problem again. They have to suffer. They have to suffer from that a bit. So
Right.
no, I don't take nothing against them. I don't take it personal because I understand what you're doing. I know who you are, and that's why I say sometimes you just have to sit and you have to watch. You have to listen and pay attention to people to understand how they are. And I think that'll slow down a lot of the madness that we have for one another. Once we understand that we're all human, and that we all can let each other talk, we all can stab each other in the back, we all can do this and do that. And once you understand that that's a possibility and it can happen, then you can give an answer to something or you don't answer it and walk away. and you let that problem be theirs because that's their problem. It came out of their mouth, it came out of their mind, it came from their heart. So that is their problem. If you walk away clear, still happy the way they approach you, you just hurt their heart. You just broke their heart. Because now they have to try to figure out another way to get to you. And I can tell you one thing. It's some people that was in North Miami tried for many, many years. And they would always get the same response. And no matter where I go, somebody would try.
Yeah.
And they're going to get the same response. And I have another chief friend of mine that went to high school with me. If you ask him about me, he'll tell you. I never seen the guy get upset. I never seen him not. Now, do I get upset? Of course I do. But am I going to hold on to it? No, I'm not. I can't. I can't. I got too much ahead of me that I need to get at. And to let one little thing that I should be able to swallow up in 5 minutes and let it go to stunt my growth, to keep me from moving forward. To bigger and better things.
It would be interesting to speak with your family about you. I would love to have a really candid time just chatting with your family about you, because
hey, I think my family think about me the way you think about me. They laugh, they have fun. They'll tell you I'm not about the arguing and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a waste of time, a waste of energy. I like coming home to see my family laugh because I didn't grow up with that, and always. And one thing I did ask God is, to make sure all my family is there together,
Yeah.
And they're supporting each other, and they're doing this for each other, and by that taking place, which that has come in tenfold. I mean, to where even though my kids are so many years apart, they are together. They stick together. They take care of each other. And all that does is just make me realize, what I have,
right,
and who I am and stuff. It makes me a better father, and make me a better role model, not to only young people, to everybody, old, young, or whatever the case may be. Because I want to bring a happy heart in the elderly, in the young, in the babies, the girls, the boys, the whites, the blacks, the Hispanic. I want to bring a happy heart into everybody, and I want to see everybody succeed. Anytime I talk to young people, I tell them. And I tell my kids, I want you to be better than me. Don't be like me.
Yeah.
Don't be what I am. Be better than me, because I want to be the proud dad. I want to be the proud mentor, the proud role model.
Right.
Who can say, man, I talked to that kid. I told him to get his life on a certain path and stuff like that. And that's what we're here for as parents. Our parents were so gracious when we brought home those A's and B's in elementary school and those smiley faces all this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When I came to college, my mom didn't do nothing but brag about me. I go to her office at work. She had pictures of me all over the place. Because I'm so proud to have somebody who's now went to college.
Right.
And then my sister see that, and she would tell me, she said, "Oh, you don't forget where you came from." And I say, "No, I haven't. I will never forget." But I'm gonna use where I came, push me over to where I need to be.
Right.
And the way I need to. So never forget where I came from, but I always remember what was back there. And I can tell you this, I never want to go back there.
Yeah. When you look at, as we wrap up, when you look at policing, if you were to summarize what you consider good policing to be, how would that sound? What does that look like?
Being fair to all, being a community-oriented individual, to where you don't mind getting out of your car, where you don't mind talking to everybody in hope that you would change their mind, to make it easier not only for themselves, but also for you as a law enforcement person and for your comrade who might be around the corner. Policing to me is something high up on the shelf. And some of us take it so much for granted. Some of us take what we have for granted so much till we lose it in the instance. whether it's through life, or whether it's through privilege, or whether it's being arrested, losing your certification. So policing to me is respect, is love, is touch, is community policing, the way you talk and you speak to people. And you have a clear understanding of your goal and objectives of what you're trying to do to build that community and build that relationship between you and that community.
Yeah.
In hopes that you could change the mindsets of every man, boy, and girl to do the right thing. Now, I know we can't do it 100%.
Right.
But there are so many kids out there, so many young people and so many grown-ups out there crying to be touched by one of us.
Yeah.
And when I say touched, I mean spoken to, respected. And I've been by many of our convenience stores in Lauderhill. And I've got out my truck, went up there, and I talked to these guys hanging up around the store that's drinking, probably smoking or whatever the case may be, got their coolers out, trash all over the place. And I say, fellas, I need y'all to help me out. How are you guys doing? I said, it's embarrassing for not only me, but when people come by here and they see the stores in our communities trash, or they see our folks hanging out just drinking, their lives are. It's embarrassing to me, and it should be embarrassing to you all. And right away, somebody come out and say, man, nobody never came out here and spoke to us like that. Deputy Chief, I'm going to clean the place up right now. They get out there and they start cleaning up. I'm going to say, look, guys, I said, man, you can go to your homes and hang out there instead of hanging out here, because when you hang out here like this and you have people that want to come shop that's not part of your group,
they're intimidated. Yeah.
They're afraid to come in here. And I'm going to tell you they're afraid.
Yeah.
And sometimes people or officers are not going to do anything about it as long as you're not causing problems. But as long as we let it linger on, as long as we let it go on, it's going to build up and it's going to get worse. And then we have a bigger pile to clean up when we show up. Yeah. So my thing is, I always tell them, I said, look, I don't want my officers to come around here. I came around here myself because I care about you all and I care about what you do look like.
Right.
So I came here to you guys to work with me. And they say, are you going to the other convenience stores? I say, yes, I am, but I love this one right now. I love this one. I get to them.
Yeah.
And that's the message that I send when I go out there. And now, when I go out there and do that, now I have to go back individually to my office and chip away at them and tell them these things. Tell them how to do it.
Right.
And then I have to go with them maybe to show them how easy it can be if you know how to approach, if you know how to speak, if you know how to be respectful, if you know how to show good customer service. Now, everybody is not going to respect you, because I can tell you one thing. When I'm talking to one of those groups, you'll have one person in the back that's still trying to egg it on.
Yeah.
And then you have some of the people in the audience who's actually say, man, shut up, man. Don't you get the talking?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you start building that momentum up, getting them on your side.
Right, right.
And all they're looking for is that respect, that direction, that firmness, that fairness. There's nothing wrong with being firm, but you be fair and you be respectful to people, I guarantee you they'll do whatever you want them to do. And you just have to know how to speak to them.
Yeah.
Don't just come up there and say, get the hell up here. I'm going to take you to jail. I'm going to this, that, and the other. We know we can take you to jail. I know I can come up there and bring all the resources up there and we can go crazy on everybody. We already know we can do that. But let's do the things that we don't know we can do. Let's do the basic things that we haven't done in years since we first came out of the academy. And that's what policing is. When you can get out your car and step up to people and have a conversation with them and have them to move and clean up, that's policing.
So when we met, it was on the last community walk in Lauderhill community.
Yes.
This is an initiative that started a little while back The police chief is involved. Members of the office of the Lauderhill.
Government.
I get yeah, as I'm gonna say, the municipal government. They're also involved. The mayor, the deputy mayor, commissioners from the Lauderhill community, all involved.
Yeah.
There's another community walk coming up this
Yes.
month.
Yes.
When is that? And one of the things that we've heard each month when LPD is represented is pretty much what you have expressed, and that
Right.
is we want to be out in the community and to be working with the community, not against the community, but with the
Exactly.
community, and we want the community working with us. When is the next community walk coming up? And as someone that interacts with police officers all over the country, is this something that you share with them, that they can take it back to their communities to do the same thing? Do you know of any other communities that is doing the same thing? Because you guys actually park your vehicles at a central location and
Right.
walk, knock door to door, and ask people, okay, what has been going on here? What do you need from us?
Right. And that was something, Kevin, that we used to do in North Miami.
Yeah.
No recognizing the issue here. And the commissioner, one of the commissioners, was interested in how did we handle things in my previous career, when we had problems and issues in the community like we was having.
Yeah.
And I say everybody have to come out. We did a community walk. Everybody have to be a part of it. It's not just the police. We can't put this all on the police. We have to bring everybody out. The people need to know that we are not just sitting in the office behind our desk, getting paid and don't care nothing about them. The
Right.
people need to see you all as the politicians, the city manager, the code enforcement, all these people. People need to see you. People want to come back. Since we started doing those walks, when they come around, people, and you look back after you pass through and you've knocked on those doors, made contact with those people, and you look back, you see people still in the street, smiling, laughing, having fun. That's what our communities used to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's been taken away from the guys speeding up and down the street, doing donuts in the street, having drug houses here and there and stuff like that, and violence coming with it from gun violence.
Right.
And then they're also leading our young people into the mix. Not being a good mentor to them, but being a bad mentor to help them try to sell their products or do their dirty work.
Yeah.
So the thing is about the community walk, the unity in the community. It's about bringing everybody out, bringing everybody together. And you don't only do this one time and stop. We can break it up throughout the year, but we have to keep doing it because that's what the community needs. We have a certain community. And when you find certain communities like that, you have to find that therapy that's needed to mend it back together.
Right.
And as long as we chip away at it, whether it's slowly, but not quickly, firmly and fairly, respectfully, with integrity, with customer service, and genuineness, we can build a better and greater community right here in Lauderhill. And I truly believe that. I really believe it.
Yeah. I believe it too. And I'm not even in the Lauderhill community, but I go through the Lauderhill community from time to time. I have friends in the Lauderhill community, and I'm making new friends each time. You and I met only recently, and I'm making new friends each time. Is the next Unity in the Community walk already set, or is it in plans?
I think they just set the date. I believe it's. I want to say it's on the. I'm gonna have to look at. I thought it might have been on the 30th, but now I can't remember if it's on the 30th or the 24th. I got to look at the date again because I know it came up on my email.
Okay.
But you know, it's we have to. That is something that we must keep going. That is something that we must keep going. It's been a good initiative, you know, that's been pushed forward by Commissioner Grant.
Yeah.
But been holding steady, you know, through the police department to where we're using a lot of resources to get out there. But also from the other departments. We got the Parks Department, we got the Fire Department, we have Code Enforcement. We have some of our police explorers that come out there. They get the opportunity to see the smiles on these people's faces and stuff, to speak to these people. You know, nobody's not walking down the street. People don't have to stay in their houses, locked up in their house all the time. When we come around, we bring that group around just to pass out stuff, just to speak or say something. The mayor come out and talk to them. The city manager, everybody's there. Some of the commissioners are there.
And even sports representatives, the members of the Dolphins were out there.
You got the Dolphins Unite program, a program that I've been a part of, you know, when I left North Miami. So it's things like that. When people see that type of stuff, especially outside your community, that makes them want to come in and do whatever they can to help continue to build that relationship, because they know what we're dealing with across the nation.
Right.
And when I say what we're dealing with, I'm talking about the police, and I'm talking about the citizens of all these communities and stuff.
Right.
The people that have to stay in their house and hide and be afraid, who's suffering, worrying about, you know, the bad things that's going on outside. This has given the opportunity. Every time we go out and walk, and I look back at those people in the street, I was like, man, look at that. People that out on the sidewalk for the long, they didn't run back in the house and close the door or shut the curtains. They still standing out there in those front yards.
Yeah.
And they smile. And they have something to now talk about. They have a conversation again.
Right.
With their neighbors that might be way down the street. And like you said, they're meeting new people.
Right. Yeah.
And they're probably finally meeting the person that they voted for.
Mm-hmm.
And that means something to everybody. That means something to you, to me, because it makes me feel good. It's just like I told you. I want everybody to grow to be better than me. I feel like I'm good, but I would like to see you do great. Because I know when I leave or I go somewhere, I left the place in better hands, in greater hands. And I know that we're going to have light and love at the end of that tunnel.
I love that. Chief, Deputy Chief, I wanna thank you for taking the time out tonight to hang out with us and to give us the Tim Belcher show.
You sound like Gail Nelson from the Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I'm part of that down in North Miami, so he had me on his podcast. Me and Jason Jenkins from the Dolphins Unite, and then we had another young lady, and I forgot the name of the program. All three of us was on the podcast, so I was talking, and he asked me questions, and I come back and I throw something in there, and he said, "Man, we're gonna call this the Tim Belcher show. You took over my whole podcast."
Well, it's one of the things that happen when people come on the night shift. You know, I don't let them know that it's really their broadcast and I'm just facilitating it until somewhere either at the introduction or at the end. So you're finding out officially at the end, but you handle it like a champ. You know, clearly you're not a newbie in this. You've had some experience. So
I've been invited to a lot of things. One thing I like, and I always tell people, I like meeting good people. I have a young man. I know Al. He's a lot older than me, but he's over the Community Police Relations Foundation. A gentleman I met in North Miami, and he does a lot of supporting police and community events down there. But you know, he's now come up here to Broward County and Lauderhill with the forwardness of helping and doing the same thing in Lauderhill and in Broward County and stuff. And I always tell him, because he said, man, you know, I get teared up when I start talking. And he's from New York, Jewish guy. And I told him one day I was speaking, I said the reason that we tear up sometimes when we're talking about certain things because I mean we have good hearts.
You're passionate about it, yeah.
And we're genuine about what we're talking about and what we're thinking about and how we're living. And then we look back at something in our past, whether it's our kids, our families, our wives, or somebody else, or either my childhood. When I think about my childhood and I'm listening to certain songs, you have to say, thank you, Jesus, because I could have went that way instead of going this way.
Right.
You know?
Right.
The person who set my path and put everything in order for me kept me there.
Yeah.
And I tell people, yeah, I could have slipped off. But I stuck it in my head and in my heart that, nope, Tim, you got to get back on path. You got to stay focused. Stay focused. You can do this. And I tell every young person out there, you can do this. You have to believe it. You can do this. Have patience. You can do this. Be respectful to yourself first. Don't get out there trying to prove nothing to nobody else. The person who you're trying to prove to is you.
Right.
Let us cheer you on. We're going to be there to cheer you on and pat you on the back and tell you, hey, hoorah, keep going.
Yep.
And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So I definitely appreciate you having me on the show. I know Lieutenant Santiago.
Yeah.
He told me he wanted me to come on this show, and I didn't know how it was, but I could tell you this.
Yeah.
Whether it's a show or me and you just sitting around talking and stuff like that, I genuinely like meeting good people. Just simple as that. And I wish everybody can be good. And that's all I hope for.
Oh, yeah.
That everybody can be good. But I know we have the human side of everything. Everybody don't think the same. Some people are going through mental issues and stuff like that. And then we have to deal with that also.
Well, I guess if you can't be good, you at least try to do a good thing. As it relates to mental health, I was fortunate enough to develop a relationship with the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And so now I'm abroad. I've managed to develop a relationship with them. And I know that they work with some law enforcement agencies as it relates to dealing with mental health crises. Because, some people, regular citizens, they themselves don't know how to deal with it. And first chance they get, they pick up the phone, they're going to dial 911. And, you guys, it's not everyone that is trained to deal with a mental health crisis. And
nowadays we have a lot of law enforcement agencies, if not all of them by now, who has taken that CIT training, that crisis intervention training, to identify and know how to address and deal with people with mental illnesses. And when I was in the academy, we had scenarios where we had to deal with scenarios like that, to where one of my classmates played with the mental illness. So me not knowing or understanding what mental illness, people with mental illness can do or how they can react, I ran up there, hey, I'm strong, play football. I went up there and grabbed the guy. They must have told my classmate. They say, when he come and grab you, go crazy. And that's the reason why they told him to do that is because that's what people with mental illness, they get strong, and they go crazy. Right. So what did that teach me? That teach me, don't go up there, being aggressive. Don't go up there loud talking. Don't go up there thinking you're going to control the situation by yelling and stuff like that. And because you got the uniform, no, you have to go up there and you have to speak to people with respect, with patience, to try to calm them down. Yeah. And try to take them another direction, take them away from that mental illness actions that they may go through. You have to put them in a different place, and you have to know how to do that. So that's why it's important that a lot of these agencies are now training and preparing their officers for crisis intervention for individuals with mental illness. But the thing is that we can't just do it once a year, or we just can't do it one time and do it 5 years later. Right. It has to be ongoing. We have to remind people how to deal with it.
Yes. Definitely.
So yeah,
Definitely. Chief, thank you once again. Thank you to the Lauderhill Police Department.
thank you.
Lieutenant Santiago, much love, bro. All the time, much love.
And Lieutenant Santiago, I hope I didn't let you down.
Listen, no one from the Lauderhill Police Department to date has been a letdown. So you guys must be doing something good over there.
We're doing a lot of good things over there.
Yeah.
The chief, and I want to give a shout out to Chief Constance Stanley.
Yes.
Because on behalf of her, I get the opportunity to come and be on your show. To talk about my story, my reasons, my whys, my purpose, my goals and objectives, and stuff like that. So, I want to thank her, for her leadership in this organization.
Yes.
For these years and stuff since she's been here, not only as a chief, but you talk about going back as a major, captain, and a sergeant, detective, and so on.
Right.
So those things that we all have somebody we follow. We all have somebody we emulate. We all have somebody that we vision and saw their shadow and said, I want to follow that shadow because I think that's a good shadow.
Yeah.
So just have that opportunity to do that, not only with her as a chief, but coming here to Lauderhill Police Department and seeing people in the city government, seeing other people within the police department. And I'm not talking about just people of my rank. I'm talking about people in lower ranks, seeing things in them that helped me build myself up. Sometimes when I talk to the officers, I tell them, I said, look, man, every time I talk to you all, I'm not just talking to you. I'm actually talking to myself too, because as I talk to you all and I say things that's not planned, I say things that just come out from my heart and from my head and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I catch it with myself also. So I'm not just only speaking to you, I'm speaking to me because I want me to stay on that straight, narrow path that's going to continue to get me there.
Definitely. Hey, listen, we could talk all night. I could sit here and listen to you, and we could have some banter going all night, and it would basically all I've been getting was some positive gems since you've been on. And
great.
Walking with you on that Unity walk, I got some more when we met that first day. Listen, I just pray your continued growth, development, and influence.
I appreciate that.
Because
really
I see where you have been a positive influence. You've remained constant with what you've been doing. And it started from what you have learned back as a 7-year-old.
Yep.
So I'm grateful for the influences that you've had in your life, that you could turn around and influence others. And I look forward to continuing these discussions with Lauderhill Police Department and other departments that you guys are affiliated with across the country. Because it starts in one little place.
And
it spreads. With one person, yes. And that's all you need to start.
Yeah.
And we just need to stay, like you said, chip at it.
And that's the chip I told you about.
Yeah.
Chip away at it. One person, one place at a time.
Yep. Love it. Listen, we're going to bounce. Thank you again. Thank you for being a part of the night shift tonight on kevinstew.com, where we're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. Thank you for being a part of the night shift. And thank you for what you're doing and your service to the community.
Appreciate you. Love you, brother.
Love you, man. We'll talk.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. You do the same.
All right. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Chief Timothy Belcher. What a guy. What a guy. Thank you to the police department of Lauderhill, the Lauderhill Police Department. Much love to you. You know, we have to be grateful for some of the experiences that we go through. Sometimes we might consider them to be negative ones, but we can find the positivity in those interactions. Deputy Chief Belcher told us about an incident where it was what would be considered a negative interaction. And he spoke of a few of them actually. But just to find that little bit of positivity, that silver lining behind that dark cloud, and exploiting that silver lining, that makes the difference. Yeah, you get rubbed the wrong way sometimes, but to not dwell on it, move forward, find the positivity, make the change, influence the change, be the change. All of these things, we can't go wrong. The community would have to grow. The community would have to be better. But each one of us would have to do our little bit of our part, yeah? And it starts with just one.
In the news at this time, gunshots rang out in downtown Kingston afternoon as gunmen engaged
As we close out the night shift tonight, Community and Finance Night, I want to thank you as we touch a little bit on get into a little bit of musical therapy. This is the sound of Hezron. The track is called Dead Man's Corner.
Mama one, Papa one, we woke up in a round a dead man corner. Sister one, brother one, we woke up in round a dead man corner. Really do 90 miles, not 30 miles. Round a dead man corner. Hey, he never did the warning, no, he never listened. Round a dead man corner. Billy was a juvenile from the ghetto. Parents gave him the best that they could afford. But from what day Billy started more silly, now take no talk from nobody. Billy just a dilly and a dally and a cut and go through, lick down anything from the avenue. Oh, don't go chasing waterfalls, Mama said. Birds past the nest, them fly too fast. But Billy never care, bad man no fear, only concerned to impress him peers. Change all in him from Billy to Killy. Oh, here comes the meat of the story. Mama one, Papa one, we woke up in a round a dead man corner. His sister one, brother one, we woke up in a round a dead man corner. We live in 90 miles, not 30 miles. Dead man corner. Hey, never did the warning, never slow down. A dead man corner. When Billy there, Mama asking, dead man corner.
Hey, cuz, how you doing?
Papa asking, dead man corner. Been around the table.
Blessings, Marlon.
Everybody's sitting here. When Billy there, dead man corner. News flash, just come in, Mama Baba Belly. Start of it when the newsman said Billy just got killed. Shoot out with him on the police. Can a mother tell the cases to all the child she bears? Yes, and her eyes, she'll go get see Billy
Any old way you choose, live it through the battles and the bruise. Go live your life. It doesn't matter.
As we close out this edition of the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew, I want to say blessed Earth dates to this guy,
Unless it's black or white,
Mr. Ed Robinson.
that fine. Go live your life. And even when they think it's rigged, let them know it's your life to live.
Celebrating 60 trips around the sun.
Say we gone astray, talking how we lose our way. One day they will know.
Blessed Earth date, Ed.
Say it's far from so. The issue don't give when they talk about the
As I get out of here, I want to thank you each and everyone for
price to pay. You will have to
calling in, for sharing in. Well, nobody called in, but for sharing.
you choose. Live it through the battles and the bruise. Go live your
Thank you to the affiliates for supporting
What you eat don't make me puke.
One Harmony Radio out of the UK, NIE Radio out of New Jersey, Island Worldwide out of New York, WGLRO, Olliwap Radio, Dusik Media Groups all out of Texas.
If you choose to do it,
Not leaving out ClintonLindsay.com, the Foundation Radio Network out of South Florida. Thank you all.
should I care? Why should
Truly appreciate love each and every one of you.
yo, if you wanna go to church on Sunday, right after the dance on Saturday,
Catch you all tomorrow
anyone care?
when we get back here for Healthy Love,
Go live
10 p.m. Eastern.
the old way you choose. Live it through the battles and the blues. Go live your life. It doesn't matter what they say. What you eat don't make me.
Until then,
Go live your life.
go live your life.
White, they will know they can't.
Do look out for someone in your community today, and do remember, your community is not just the development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide.
Yeah, man. If I
So those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, or the boat, or the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow.
blacks enjoy,
My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This has been the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew.
world is your
Catch you tomorrow.
all there.
Take care.
Oh, yeah. Live your life, it's your life. Go live your life.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
Greetings and salut one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with music and finance, Tuesdays with healthy love, and Wednesdays with real talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.